church known as Calvary Church, found in the area of Kids Church, these leaders and fellow puppets have volunteered to survive. This is Survivor, where we survive and thrive in God's kingdom. Please give a warm welcome to two of our human contestants, Miss Kayla and Pastor Lindsay. These contestants are ready to take on any challenge we throw at them.
Ooh, any challenge?
Yes, as agreed upon on the 17 signatures on the release form, any challenge. And we are beginning this morning with the first challenge. Each of you grab one of these papers from my desk. And when I say go, you will have 20 seconds to build a paper airplane. The one whose paper airplane goes the farthest wins. Ready? Great, go! Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. 15 seconds left.
Oh dear.
Come on, you can do it. Tick tock. 10 seconds left. The clock is ticking. Here we go.
I forgot which way was my front airplane and which way was
7.
No!
6.
No!
5.
No!
3. 4. 3, 2, 1. Stop. That's it. Time's up. Now, try to fly your airplanes. Wow.
It's a tie.
Well, that didn't go as planned.
Go as planned? That's the problem. We didn't have any time to plan. You literally said grab your paper, go, and then stop before I even had time to process. I had paper in my hand.
Good point. I felt very rushed. I'm not sure though, even with more time, I would have done any better.
Yeah, yes you would have. If you had time to make a plan and then execute it, that always helps.
Are you ladies done trying to steal my segment?
Oh yeah, sorry, but we have a good point over here though. Okay, go ahead.
Maybe, but when you are a survivor, you need to have plans ready to go at all times. Now, before my segment gets turned off, it is time to turn it over and get started with our lessons. Clean up your messes and let's get going. Today, we are starting a new sermon series called Survivor. How many of you have ever watched Survivor? It's a reality television show in which people choose to go somewhere in the wilderness to compete against others and live in crazy conditions, all for a chance to win money. Over the next 7 weeks, we are going to look at the different pieces the survivors must use in order to survive. Does that sound like fun to anyone? Well, let me ask you this. How many of you, given the choice, would spend a summer night out under the stars? How many of you prefer a trip into the woods over a trip to the mall? Who would rather go hunting or fishing than go to a water park? The great outdoors isn't for everyone, but there are many people who live for it. Those are the reasons stores like Cabela's and Bass Pro Shops came to be. They love the challenge of living off the woods. Whether you prefer the comfort of air conditioning or the meager shelter of a tent, we all find ourselves in survival mode from time to time. Hard times can come in the form of money shortages, family crises, sicknesses, or trouble at school. When those tough times come, we want nothing more than survive and to come out of it okay. Today, as we begin this series, it's all about survival. We're going to look at some of the Bible's greatest survivors and learn the secrets to their success.
Arnold, did you hear that? We get to look at the Bible's greatest survivors and learn their secrets. Aren't you always telling me that you love secrets?
Oh, I do like secrets.
But are you good at keeping secrets?
Oh, absolutely, Miss Kayla. Remember that one time you told me how you ate 10 Oreos for breakfast without your parents knowing? Or that other time that you got paint on your carpet?
Arnold, you're telling my secrets.
What? No, I'm only telling you.
And all of them?
Oh, yeah. Oops. Sometimes it just comes out, Miss Kayla.
Well, that's the thing about this series. We are learning the secrets of the greatest Bible survivors, but they are secrets they want us all to know. Like special ingredients we can all use to become great warriors for Jesus.
Oh, this is going to be great! Learning things, I don't have to keep quiet. I'm going to be really good at this.
I actually really agree with you. I think it fits you actually perfectly. And today we are going to begin with one of the most famous heroes of the Bible. Let me give you and our boys and girls at home some hints and see if you can guess.
All right, I am up for the challenge.
Great. First hint is he was a boy.
Oh, this is easy. It's Adam. Or maybe Joseph. Or I guess it could be Noah. What about Gideon? The list is growing and growing. I need another clue.
I figured a second one would help. He was also a shepherd.
Miss Gayla, I appreciate the second clue, but it doesn't take many options off the table. Can you give me a third one, please?
Well, since you said please, I absolutely can. He was a boy and a shepherd, and he used a tool to defend his flock from wolves and bears.
Wolves and bears? Ah, that's not good, Miss Kayla. Can you imagine what they would do to a puppet?
I can begin to imagine that, and it wouldn't be pretty. But I still have one more clue for you. What about you at home? I think you know who it is, don't you? Well, yell it out if you do. For those of you still guessing, here's the last clue. He is the most famous for his slingshot.
Slingshots? Why didn't you say that first? We all know who used this slingshot to defeat someone big and mighty.
That's right, Arnold. We were talking about David today. What a great way to start looking at all our survivors of the Bible. Then with David, he faced a great giant of a challenge. And when trouble came, he was prepared. David, the shepherd boy, had a plan. He had a plan that had served him in the wild as he defended his flock from the wolves and bears. And when an even greater threat came his way, that same plan helped him not only survive, but conquer.
I've heard about David before. So what makes him so great to be one of the Bible's greatest survivors?
That's a great question. You're right, we have to talk about David in the past, but today we are going to revisit him and look at how he survived in his elements. We are in 1 Samuel for this story, looking at the story of David and Goliath. At this point in our story, we have two groups of people, the Philistines and the Israelites, that are fighting. Goliath was a Philistine and David was an Israelite. David wasn't even supposed to be in the battle. He was just supposed to be taking food to his brothers who were in the army and ended up agreeing to take on the giant. We are going to pick up from that part of the story. Watch this.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stella the Star and the only important puppet.
Stella, that's rude.
I have feelings too, you know.
Sorry, Nathaniel. Everybody, this is my very good friend, Nathaniel.
Thank you, Stella. You know, you should be nice like that all the time.
Why? Being mean is fun too.
Well, maybe to you it is, but how much fun do you think it's for the person you're being mean to?
Well, I guess I never really thought of it like that. I'm always glad to have you around, Nathaniel.
Well, thank you, Stella. Anyways, do you want to hear a story, Stella?
That I do. Nathaniel stories are always so fun.
Now, this is the story of David and Goliath.
What's a Goliath?
Goliath was a Gath. He was a giant and a champion of the Philistines.
Wow. Go on. I want to hear more.
Well, Goliath was also a bad guy. He challenged God's army, and no man would go and fight against him.
No man, huh? So, how was he defeated?
Well, that's where David comes in. He went to the army camp and told Saul that he would fight Goliath. But Saul rejected him and said, "You are not able to fight against this Philistine, for you are too young."
Too young? But he was the only one willing to fight him. That's pretty brave for being young. I'm pretty young.
Yes, it is. Where was I? Well, David responded to Saul. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it. I struck it and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it and by its hair struck it and killed it.
What? I just came about here. I'm a bear. I'm a bear.
Stella, could you please be quiet? I'm trying to tell a story here. Now, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? So Saul had David put on his armor, but the armor was too much for David, and he could barely walk. So David went and armed himself.
Armed himself? With what?
Well, if you would stop interrupting me, Stella, I'll tell you. David went to the river and picked 5 smooth stones and walked over to the Philistine Goliath.
Oh man, I forgot about this part.
So David put one of his stones in his sling, and as he came up to Goliath, he said, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, who you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down." So David slang the rock from the sling. It hit Goliath in the forehead, and Goliath fell.
Wow! I know David used nothing but a sling or stone, but I mean, it would be pretty fun if I could use a catapult.
I guess so.
Fire! Well, that was a very good story, Nathaniel.
Thank you, Stella. Now, let's... Sorry.
Do it! Nathaniel, let's aim this catapult at the audience.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Well, boys and girls, this Survivor episode has been intense so far. We started off with the epic challenge between Miss Kayla and Pastor Lindsay, guessed our Bible hero of the day, and learned what David did to further God's kingdom. He truly had a survival plan. Let's go learn some more about that plan, then see if you are up for a few challenges of your own.
When Goliath showed up at the battlefield, the army of Israel, they went running. They were prepared for an army, like man-to-man combat. They were not prepared for one huge champion, a giant of a man that was coming at them. They weren't ready for that, and they were scared. That's when David stepped in. See, David had used a slingshot to defend his sheep, and he had already killed bears and wolves protecting his sheep. So he was ready to take on Goliath because Goliath was mocking God and making fun of God, and he wasn't going to stand for it. So David went out there and he followed a plan. He already knew what to do, and he followed a plan, and when he did, he took down Goliath. So here's the thing. I have this little plan that I'm following here to make a popsicle stick tower without any glue. So let's see if I can do it. You might face different giants in your life. What if there's a bully at school who's kind of being mean to you? What do you do when you face them? What do you do when you have that bully? What should you say? If they're saying mean things to you, what should you do? So here's the thing. If we follow the step-by-step plans, then we can be successful. Just like how I made a tower with no glue. Pretty cool. But if we don't follow the plans, if we just do one thing that's different, watch. It all falls apart. So here's the thing. What steps do we need to follow to make sure that we're successful? Well, step one is, you ready for it? Step one is to pray. Step one is to pray. We need to pray. We need to ask God for help. And if we have enemies, the Bible actually says we should pray for good things to happen to them. So step one, pray. Step two is rely on God. And one of the best ways to do this is to study God's word. The more we know about what it says in the Bible, the more prepared we are to trust him and to do what he tells us to do. So example, with that bully, we know that we have to turn the other cheek. We have to still be kind to that bully, even if they're being mean to us. So step two. And then step three is, no matter what happens, we give God all the glory. So no matter what kind of giant you might be facing in your life, it could be someone at school that's not being mean or nice to you, or that they're being mean to you. It could be something that's happening in your life. No matter what problem you're facing, if you pray, rely on God and study his word, and then no matter the outcome, we still praise God. So even if it doesn't turn out exactly how we wanted to, we still want to take time to give him the glory and honor because we know he knows what's best for us. So if we do all these steps, then you can technically build a tower, right? Just like we did with our popsicle sticks. But follow these steps, and then God can help you with any giant that you might be facing.
Did you see what she did with the rocks?
Yep, that was pretty cool. But what David did was even better. He used his survival techniques to help defeat Goliath and save God's army.
True. Sounds like you know the story well, Nathaniel. But how about we put the kids to a test? This is Survivor anyways, right?
I mean, who isn't up for a challenge? Let's do this.
Great. I knew you were up for this. The rules are easy. We have 5 true or false questions for you. If the answer is true, we want you to jump up high. But if the answer is false, you have to sit down. Try it. Jump up. Great. Now sit down. Awesome. Looks like they have it. Nathaniel, what is our first question?
Okay, here we go. True or false? David was a shepherd boy. That's right. It's true. David was a shepherd boy.
Way to start with an easy one. Why didn't you just ask him Pastor Lindsay's favorite dessert? That's easy too. How about a harder one? True or false? Goliath was only a few inches bigger than David. That's right. False. You all should be sitting down. You sit down up there? Are you sitting down? That's right. Because Goliath was a lot bigger than David.
This is great. Third question. True or false? If we make a plan and rely on God, we can get through any circumstances. I hope you are jumping up high on that one.
Oh, I did, and I have one that goes right along with that. True or false? The first step to any plan is to pray. Absolutely, we should definitely pray.
Stella, I have one more, and it's for you. Remember earlier when I told you that we shouldn't be mean to others? Well, true or false? If a bully pushes us down at school, we should push the bully back. Remember, we can make a plan and we can get help, but being mean to others is not the answer, Stella.
I sat down. I knew it was false, but thanks for the reminder, Nathaniel.
You're welcome. Hey, I think they did a great job with this review game. That means it's time to learn the memory verse for the week.
What a great first week we had here for our Survivor Sermon Series. It is just the beginning too. Each week we will have the challenges we compete in and hope you can along with us. And we hope that you get out a piece of paper and make an airplane. Practice those true and false jumps or even get working on memorizing your memory verse. All of these challenges are meant to help us grow, and we can't wait to see the impact it has in your life. Let's go ahead and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to be together today. And Lord, even as we begin this Survivor Sermon Series, we ask that you use this time and our time together in order to help these children, these families, and all of us grow not only with you, but help others to grow too. We give you this today, in your name we pray. Amen. We can't wait to see you all next week and hope that you have a fantastic week.